Karl Brown finally got a monkey off his back by recording the highest score of his career on the second day of the LV County Championship match between Lancashire and Glamorgan at Emirates Old Trafford. Brown began the second morning on 80, made out of his side's 161 for 3, made on a truncated opening day, and he showed few nerves as he approached an elusive ton. His only previous first-class 100 was the 114 he made against Sussex in Liverpool in the championship-winning summer of 2011. It's been a long wait, but at last, after 96 innings of trying, this was his moment. A boundary off a Michael Hogan full toss, his 13th taking him to three figures off 217 balls. A couple of scores in the high 90s could now be forgotten by the 27-year-old, who was playing in his 70th first-class match overall. Brown had given his side an ideal start to this thus far rain-damaged match, Lancashire knowing that a win will have them back in the top flight at the first time of asking. Stephen Croft has led the side superbly in the absence of the injured Tom Smith, and this knock from him was typical of his efforts this year. He cleared the rope off Andrew Salter on his way to a half-century, which was made off 102 deliveries. Oozing with confidence now, Brown batted on with his mate, these two taking their partnership for the fourth wicket to 132, the pair batting right through the morning session with very few alarms. 25 minutes into the afternoon, they were finally separating when Brown on 132 shovelled a ball from David Lloyd into the hands of Chris Cook at mid-wicket. Brown's near 7-hour knock was at an end. Croft was then joined by Alex Davies, a young man who's enjoying his summer. He helped the total beyond 300 in the last of the bonus point scoring overs. Glamorgan had to settle for just one with the ball as their host took yet another step towards promotion. There were 307 runs on the board when Croft was the fifth man out for 67, with an edge off Craig Mishada being well held behind by Mark Wallace. It was now that the home team really started to hit out to improve their scoring rate, Davies leading the way. This six off Salter had the man who celebrates his 21st birthday on Sunday at the 9th half-century of his career, this one being made off just 57 balls with 7 fours also included. It was just the kind of innings his side needed at this stage. He had by now been joined by James Faulkner, who had only one thing on his mind, and that was to score runs quickly by smacking the ball with fearful power. Even if some of these shots had found a fielder, they would have done very well to stop the ball, such was the force with which they were struck. A more careful stroke took the Australian to his 50 off 61 balls. He found the boundary 7 times thus far and had rushed his side beyond 400 in the process. For the second time in the last month, Glamorgan were being taught a batting lesson by this opposition, who broke all sorts of records when the sides recently met in Colwyn Bay. Faulkner added a 6 on his way to a score of 63, his partnership with Davies realising 128 runs in 22 overs. It was ended when the Aussie found Lloyd at long on off the bowling of Mishada, but by the time he left, his side had a score of 435 for 6 on the board. Not for the first time in his career, Davies was out in the 90s. Trying to hit a 6 to take him to his maiden ton, he sliced a shot off Colin Ingram to Graham Wagg in the deep. Lancashire lost a host of wickets as they tried to hit out. Glenn Chappell was gone for a duck, and then Kyle Jarvis edged Mishada behind to give the Somerset man his 4th wicket. Arron Lilley was the last to fall, eventually stumped off Ingram, as Lancashire were all out for 462 after keeping their opponents out in the field for 140 overs. There were 16 left in the day, and it was left to Will Bragg and Jacques Rudolph to see their side through, as many of those as they could before stumps were drawn. Bragg played some nice shots in his 27, but he then fell to Lilley's second delivery as he played down the wrong line to go LBW with 40 runs on the board. Rudolph was then joined by night watchman Salter, and these two saw out the final 5 overs with no more moments of drama. But Glamorgan still have much to do to stay in touch with 2 days of this match to go. They'll resume their first innings on the third morning on 48 for 1, which has them 414 runs behind.